Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto channel. Please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Guys, what will happen when Bitcoin hits $20,000 once again? Of course, back in 2017, December 2017 to be specific, we hit that $20,000 mark. We saw massive retail FOMO starting, around September of 2017, and the price of Bitcoin just kept going up and up every week. And it was pretty amazing to watch it happen. Now, of course, we had our correction, we had our accumulation and bear market. I should say our bear market and our accumulation phase. And now we are back in a bull market going all the way up. And the stock to flow model is showing a potential price of $100,000. Now, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But this is based on data, not emotions or guesstimating. It's just based on the trends, how Bitcoin has performed in its bull markets before of 2013 and 2017, and now the next 4-year cycle of 2020 into 2021, guys. So Bitcoin had its highest October close ever at $13,816, so very bullish. And this close, closing above 13,000 was the first time since 2017. And obviously we just talked about where Bitcoin went, so looking very bullish. And the question is, when will the retail investors jump in? And I think they could jump back in at that 20,000 mark, because here's the narrative, or how it might work from a psychology standpoint. The headlines and the CNBC and all the news networks are going to start talking about it, right? Because it's going to cross over its all-time high. So showing investors that it did rebound, that it has lasting potential. It may have crashed. They may have bought at the top in 2017, but now it's back over. So they may enter again. This time around, you also have a lot of big players. We just heard about the PayPal news. PayPal is going to market to its users, push it to their users to buy Bitcoin through there. You have many more on-ramps, right? So I'm not just talking about crypto exchanges, also just the Robinhood and Square, right? Just apps that people are familiar with and that they use for investing into other things, or for different other activities. So many new on-ramps, many trusted brands getting involved. And when you have a guy like Paul Tudor Jones going on CNBC and national TV and talking about he's putting more money into Bitcoin, he's even more bullish on Bitcoin, guess what? The average Joe is going to see that. And that type of conversation and activity is going to ramp up once Bitcoin crosses 20K again. And I believe we will see retail FOMO. And like I said, the marketing is going to be a big part of that, and just the news coverage on TV. And, one of the major things that are going to be called out is Bitcoin's performance versus gold and versus the S&P 500. So here's some data. And Plan B tweeted the following. He said, Bitcoin is the best performing asset this year, last 5 years, and last 10 years. So once these things are put into the mainstream media, people will recognize what's happening. And I think a lot of people understand what's taking place with the money printing and the stock market. There's only so much money you can keep printing to pump the market up, right? So I think people are going to recognize what's happening, and inflation is around the corner. So even risk-adjusted Bitcoin outperforms all other assets year after year. What's your reason for not having Bitcoin in your portfolio, or in your investment portfolio? And you look at the data here, it doesn't lie. Bitcoin is up for 2020 year to date, 60%, higher than gold, higher than the S&P 500. Now, if you look at the same comparison, Bitcoin versus gold versus the S&P 500, growth comparison from 2015 to September 25th, 2020, Bitcoin 30x, my goodness. And I wish I got in at the below $1,000 levels. But obviously I entered in, majority of my entry into Bitcoin was around the $2,500 to $3,000 price point. And then I kept buying the dips after that. I'm still buying the dips because, like I said, guys, the stock to flow is showing us going to 100,000. Even if we don't hit 100,000, we just hit 50, or even if we hit 30,000, guys, still a great return on my investment, right? And certainly we'll be cashing out on the way up. So Bitcoin outperforming other asset classes, very, very good. I mean, here's this same comparison, but it's a growth comparison from 2013 to September 25th, 2020. And wow, I think 1,000x, right? If you obviously were holding or bought in 2013, you held through the whole run, you're up 1,000x, guys. Man, I wish I was one of those people who bought in 2011, 2013, all of that. But I'm not missing the boat this time around because we're headed to new all-time highs. And guys, I believe once Bitcoin crosses that $20,000 price point once again, we're going to see big time FOMO. You're going to see the Uber drivers, the grandma, grandpas, and uncles, everybody, looking to jump into Bitcoin. And I think it's not just going to be the FOMO, but I think this time around, with all the economic issues, the inflation, the money printing, the different things the Fed is doing, and interest rates and all of that, I think people are going to jump into crypto as another avenue or investment avenue to preserve their wealth, preserve their money, and to grow their money, right? And like I said, big green flags from Wall Street with Paul Tudor Jones, PayPal, and all, more companies are going to jump into crypto. And especially if some of these publicly traded companies like MicroStrategy, they put a lot of their cash reserves into Bitcoin. Let's say Apple or Microsoft or whatever it is, some of these well-known companies all of a sudden start putting some cash into Bitcoin, and that news is circled around in the mainstream media. Guys, the average Joe is going to see that. People are reading now. They have more access to information because of not just television but the internet. And it's not newspapers obviously, but before there was no internet. It was just radio, TV, and print. Now at their fingertips, they have the internet, the access to a whole bunch of news. So I'm very bullish on the market, guys. Now, as always, the crypto market is very volatile, and a whale could come and dump this and put the target back a little bit. Slow us down. We could drop to 10,000. But if everything plays out as is, and there's no major dumps or whatever it is, but even though if there is a dump, we all seen the market recover. That's not gonna phase Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. But if things continue, we might see 20,000 within the next 4 to 6 months. It has to hit it sooner or later. If the stock to flow model here is on track, it has to hit 20,000 sooner or later. So it would be awesome if it hits it by the end of this year. I don't think that's likely. I think maybe we close out the year at 15 or 14. We'll have to wait and see because there's going to be corrections, right? And with the virus issues, ramping up again, and the country might go into lockdown again, and we'll see what happens. And like we saw in March what happened, right? The bloody, I think it was a Thursday. I can't remember what it was, but all markets crash. So let's see what happens. But I do believe Bitcoin will continue to rise with all the macroeconomic things happening with inflation and money printing. So guys, I'm bullish, and I think once we cross that 20,000 mark, we'll see massive retail FOMO, because right now we have institutional FOMO, right? As I mentioned, the likes of MicroStrategy, Paul Tudor Jones, and others. So guys, what do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Do you think we will see mass retail FOMO again once Bitcoin crosses 20K? Because remember, it's very different from 2017. More on-ramps, more trusted players in the market, right? Not just crypto exchanges. You have the likes of PayPal, Fidelity's offering services, and all of that. You guys know what's happening now. We're in a much more mature and built out infrastructure than we were in 2017. So I think, guys, I think this time around it's going to be big, and that's why have your cash out plan ready. Be patient and just be ready for the new all-time highs. So leave your thoughts and comments below.